Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Well done, OP. That sweet karma victory at the end made me laugh my butt off. Serves him right for being an a-hole. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Mini Tales from the Gas Station. I've lurked in here for a while, and I figured I'd share some of my stories from my years working at a big-name convenience store. My first day was one of my worst. My boyfriend had broken up with me, and I was already pretty upset. First problem encounter of the day went like this. I was working the register at the time, learning the different buttons and lotto machine. I didn't know how to do anything on the lotto machine yet except for quick picks. Cue entrance of Lotto Lady. LL. Which lotto's the biggest? Me. I'm not sure. I start pushing buttons on the machine to look for a printout of the jackpots. LL. Come on, get with it. I don't have all day. Me. I'm sorry. I don't know how. Bear with me, please. LL. You should have already had this done at the beginning of the day. It's your job. Do you not know how to do your job? Me. This is my first day. I'm trying. At this point, I'm getting very flustered and upset and having a hard time navigating the menus because of the stress, and I can barely speak. Then my coworker appears and saves me from the abuse, but not long after, Crazy Lotto Lady, who actually caused me grief for the entire 3.5 years I worked there by being very rude, only standing at the left register even when I only have the right one open, so I have to run back and forth to ring her up, and being extremely impatient. Left. In comes Crazy Gas Lady. CGL. I was pumping gas at the pump, and I didn't actually pump anything, and it racked up $2.35. I want my money back right now. Me. I'm sorry, ma'am. Since you paid at the pump, we have no way of providing a refund, but there is a phone number on the pump you may call for a refund. CGL. Are you effing kidding me, you stupid B-word? You're incompetent. Give me my money right now. We went back and forth with me trying to get her to call the line for a refund since there's no way to do the transaction on the register to put the money back on her card without having a transaction code, which is only given on in-store receipts, and paying at the pump bypasses that system. Eventually, she told me she refused to leave, and I was crying at that point. I had to go into the back of the store and call the police. Some of the nice customers were getting into it, telling her she shouldn't be making me cry, and the woman snapped back that it was good, I deserved to cry. After the police arrived and escorted her off the premises, I sat outside and cried for a good 15 minutes. One of the regulars I came to know later came out and gave me a hug. They were good people. Another time I was very busy and had a line. There was an older couple, and they were taking a long time trying to pick scratch-off lotto tickets and asking for picks with specific amounts of draws on them and whatnot. There was a woman, Beer Lady, BL, who started screaming at the old couple for taking too long, saying they didn't need lottery tickets and were wasting your money. The older couple started fighting back, saying that she didn't need her beer, and so on and so forth. Finally, I got their transactions completed, then BL yelled at me because I threw her change at her. I didn't, but I did want her to get out because she was making me nervous. She proceeded to threaten the old couple and flip them off and try to physically assault them. And for my final story, a group of young adults came into the store being rowdy and generally unpleasant. The ringleader, we'll call him Turd Burglar, was the worst. They were buying beer, and as state law dictates, I have to card all members of the party that look underage. Some run out the door, but after much arguing with TB, the remaining party members show IDs. I sell them the beer because that's about as much as I can do, given I can't chase the other people. TB starts saying offensive things to me, and I don't remember much of what he said, unfortunately, but he pretty much laid on the sarcasm, made comments about my boobs, yelled every single thing he said as if he were addressing a deaf, mentally incompetent person, and then hit on some other ladies in line. As he's walking out the door, 2 cop cars swarm in behind his vehicle, get out. One comes in and asks me about what transpired, and I told him specifically how it all went. One of the girls that ran out the door turned out to be 17 years old. I listened to part of the conversation the sheriffs were having with TB and watched as they turned him around and cuffed him for throwing parties where minors and alcohol were involved, as well as 90% of the party. The minor had to wait on her parents to come and get her, and they towed his vehicle. Sweet, sweet karma. It was the best thing to ever happen to me working in retail, to this day. Anyway, I've had a ton of crazies, creepers, violent offenders, and messy bathroom horror experiences, but I hope you've enjoyed reading those and they weren't too confusing or hard to read. And our second story. My husband and I were very disappointed in these omelets. I work in a casual dining restaurant, not quite retail, but close. We're centrally located in a fairly large city, so I've seen all kinds, but for the most part, people are chill and not trying to scam. But these people who came in yesterday made me shake my head. I was the lunch shift, an elderly couple and their daughter, around 40 I'd say, come in. Brunch is still available, so the mom and dad order the veggie omelet and the daughter gets an appetizer as her meal. Also, these people are super polite, saying please and thank you practically every sentence. I found it a bit odd, but whatever. Now, we're not super busy, but I'm occupied enough that I'm not hovering around this table, but I always check in when the food comes out to make sure everything looks okay and is tasting great. About 15 minutes later, I'm walking into the kitchen when the lady flags me down by literally standing up at her booth, leaning over the table and waving both of her arms at me. Comical. I come over and she and her husband are finished, literally nothing left on the plate or in the bowl of fruit that comes with the omelet. The daughter's looking down at the remainder of her food. Cue the crazy lady. COL. COL. Hi, yes, my husband and I were very disappointed in these omelets. I look at their plates, letting my eyes linger on how empty they are. Me. Well, what was the problem? COL. Well, there was hardly anything in them. And look, it looks nothing like the picture. She holds up the menu and points, showing that in the picture the omelet is stuffed full of mushrooms and cheese and whatnot. These ones weren't even half full. Even the omelets at 24-hour food place found everywhere are bigger than these. Our fruit cups weren't filled all the way either. At this point, I'm smiling ear to ear, trying not to laugh. Me. Okay, ma'am, I'll grab my manager. Her husband and daughter are both staring at their plates, half nodding, looking embarrassed. The lady's voice escalates. COL. Because that's just false advertising if you ask me. It's my first time here and I'm very disappointed. They were Rewards Club members, so I doubt it was her first time, and I checked on them when they first got their food and there were no complaints. So I left the table as she was still going on, shaking my head to get my manager. I tell my manager and walk by the table again about 45 seconds later. The lady looks at me and throws her hands up and says, "Still no manager?" I reassure her that he's on the way. He gets there a minute later and stands talking to them for a long time, like over 5 minutes, and I see her standing, holding the menu up and pointing to the picture. It was fantastic. So finally he leaves, gives them one omelet for free, and gives them a free dessert. I go to the table to clean up the dishes, make sure everything was okay, and to see what they wanted for their free dessert. Now the lady won't shut up. She was nice enough, I suppose, but she went on and on about everything. COL. Yeah, I know it's not your fault, but the kitchen or even the people bringing it out should have seen those omelets weren't acceptable. I have a lot of respect for people who work in this industry. My father was the head chef at blah blah blah, and my mother and his uncle, and that reminds me of my brother and this joke, ha ha. After several awkwardly polite attempts at leaving to attend to my other tables, I finally just cut her off with a smile and said, "I'll go ring that dessert in for you now," and left. I've had annoyingly friendly old ladies before, but never one who turned on the niceness and small talk to 100% after scamming me. I avoided the table until they left, got $5 on a $35, price after discounts. I really felt bad for her daughter and husband. Daughter looked like she was used to it, and husband looked like he knew better than to stop her BS. And our last story. Illegal park? I'll get you towed. Yesterday I go to Walmart to return faulty ink cartridges, and also because it came with 2 black inks, not black, red, yellow, blue. Anyway, I see some jerk decides to take his huge, giant truck and double park illegally on the handicap spots with no blue placard, and another car was parked in the no parking area. Like the area with the cross lines? I have a disability, but I don't usually choose to park handicapped because unless I have severe MS flare, I can walk so I don't feel the need to park close. probably the third time this week. I go to that area often. So, feeling petty and also pissed because what if a handicapped person needed it? I decided to call the non-emergency police line to report the violation and give both plate numbers. Cops arrived pretty quick. I told them what I saw. They also confirmed no handicap placard for the truck and let me go on my merry way. An hour later, I'm walking out with a bag of needed groceries and a receipt for my refund. Customer service had a long line. And I see 2 tow trucks getting the illegally parked vehicles. It's at this moment the owners happen to come out, and I'm close enough to hear, though they were yelling so it wasn't hard to hear. Both try to argue. Cops tell one, "Ma'am, this isn't a parking space, and there are plenty of open spots further down," to which she goes, "But it's too far. I've only been gone 5 minutes." The guy in the truck also says he was gone 5 minutes, and the other officer is like, "That's funny, because we got this report an hour ago." "Oh, and sir," as she gestured to the irate truck owner, "do you have a handicap permit? I'll let you off with a warning." Guy grumbles, "No, I don't have an effing permit. Do I look like a cripple?" She looks like she sighs and writes a ticket and hands it to him, and he turned red and screamed, $2,000? Are you effing kidding me?" She says plainly, "Take it up with traffic court, sir, not me." The other lady got fined $500 for illegal parking, and both vehicles were towed, leaving their owners calling people to come get them, all pissed and angry. I walk to my car snickering to myself and drive home. Moral of the story? Don't park illegally, especially in handicap zones. Love it when people have to deal with the consequences of their actions. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.